This is Autoline Daily, the show dedicated to enthusiasts of the global automotive industry. The good news keeps rolling in for Elon Musk. Last week, shareholders overwhelmingly approved his roughly $56 billion pay package, and now Tesla has been given the green light to start testing full self-driving on some public roads in Shanghai, and the city of Hangzhou may also give approval too. The OK to test FSD is the first step towards offering the system to owners in China. Tesla currently charges $8,800 for FSD in China, compared to $8,000 in the US. But very few owners in China have purchased it since it's not available yet. And unless your name is Tesla, it looks like none of the automakers in North America are going to make a profit on EVs this year or next. Automakers in the US, Canada, and Mexico have the manufacturing capacity to make 2.6 million electric vehicles a year. The only problem is, this year they will only sell 1.47 million of them, according to Warren Brown Consulting, which is going to leave them with 1.1 million units of overcapacity. And that is going to make it very difficult to turn a profit on those cars. It estimates that next year BEV manufacturing capacity will grow to 3.3 million units, but the average plant utilization rate will only be 56%, meaning there will be 1.8 million units of overcapacity, and that almost guarantees that those plants will not be profitable. Mini's electric vehicles built in China are going to be hit with the highest EV tariff from the EU. Reuters reports that the automaker didn't provide investigators with enough info to be classified as a company cooperating in the EU's probe into unfair subsidies for EVs built in China. That means the electric version of the Mini Cooper and Aceman will get slapped with a 38.1% import tariff. Companies that did cooperate were given lower tariffs between 17 and 21%. But Mini will only have to deal with the tariff for a couple of years because it plans to build those models at its plant in England starting in 2026. More and more Chinese vehicles are being imported into Mexico. According to S&P Global Market Intelligence, EV and PHEV imports increased 443.9% by value in the first quarter compared to last year. 7 new brands entered the market in the last year, and 1 in 10 cars sold in Mexico are now from a Chinese automaker. The growing presence of Chinese companies in the country has U.S. lawmakers concerned that they'll open plants there to build vehicles as a backdoor way to enter the American market and avoid tariffs. Chinese automakers are also expanding into Latin America as a whole, and they now control 86% of the EV market in that region. And in Brazil, Chinese EV sales are up 91%, and BYD, Chery, and Great Wall are now 3 of the top 5 brands in the country.
There's nothing wrong with heavy metal.
Hey, lighten up.
But with world-class composite material, Teijin Automotive Technologies makes vehicles lighter, safer, and more eco-friendly.
It's not as efficient to make vehicle platforms that can accommodate a mix of powertrains compared to a dedicated platform. But some of those inefficiencies can be made up for with scale. That seems to be the strategy Stellantis is taking, and a good thing for it is that it has so many brands. Fiat just introduced the Grande Panda, a new small B-segment SUV that will be available as both a pure electric and hybrid in Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. It's based on the same platform as the Citroën C3 and Opel and Vauxhall Frontera, so it should be a pretty affordable model. The hybrid C3 starts at about €15,000, and the BEV Frontera starts under $30,000. The platform utilizes a 1.2-liter turbocharged 3-cylinder engine mated to a 48-volt motor in DCT for the hybrid setup, and the base version of the BEV comes with a 44 kWh LFP battery pack and an 83 kWh 113 horsepower electric motor. That setup provides around 300 kilometers or 186 miles of range, but there will also be a longer range version that gets about 400 kilometers or 248 miles of range. Fiat says it's going to introduce a new vehicle every year until 2027, and the Grande Panda was the first of those. 2 years ago, Stellantis said it would allow most employees to work from home permanently, but now it's changed its mind. Employees have to be at work 3 to 5 days a week now, and during a new car launch, they may be required to be there 6 days. At first, remote work was seen as a way to cut costs because the company would not need as much office space. But now it recognizes that it needs designers and engineers to be physically together to get work done faster. Since it debuted in 1953, Corvette has only had 5 chief engineers. Well, we better make that 6. Tony Roma was named as the 6th executive chief engineer of the Corvette program. Most recently, Roma, who's 53 years old, was running the Cadillac Celestiq program, that $350,000 plus hand-built ultra-luxury sedan. But he also has worked on the Cadillac V-Series and Blackwings earlier in his career, and even Corvette powertrains. In addition to Corvette, Roma will also head up GM's luxury and performance teams. We find it interesting that GM would name someone working on an EV platform to head up Corvette, and maybe that's further confirmation that an all-electric Vette is somewhere out there in the not-too-distant future. The same Chinese luxury off-road brand that brought us the M Hunter back in April has partnered up with an action movie to launch a much more extreme version of its 917 SUV called the Dragon Armor Edition. The bodywork is even more embellished. It gets big off-road wheels and tires. A stronger front bumper and grille guard are fitted to the front, and there's extra tie-down points and storage as well. It's available as a quad-motor BEV that provides over 1,000 horsepower or as a more than 800 horsepower E-Rev. Pre-orders are open now, and starting prices range from about $106,000 to $120,000. When it comes to EV efficiency, Lucid CEO Peter Rawlinson says that, quote, "No one else is even close." The EV startup announced that a version of its Air sedan recently hit 5 miles per kilowatt hour, while Rawlinson says, quote, "Some of the competition is under 3 miles per kilowatt hour." That is true, but others like Hyundai and Tesla have cracked 4 miles per kilowatt hour. However, Rawlinson points out its better efficiency will have another advantage. Quote, "That means that we can make a car with a significantly smaller battery pack with competitive range, and that gives us a unique and profound commercial advantage as a company." No word if that philosophy will be applied to the Air, the upcoming Gravity SUV, which is scheduled to start production later this year, or a midsize vehicle that's supposed to come out in 2026. But Lucid isn't stopping at 5 miles per kilowatt hour. Rawlinson says, quote, "I think 6 miles per kilowatt hour is the holy grail. That's what we need to save the planet," end quote. And with that, we wrap up today's show. Thanks for making Autoline a part of your day.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, solutions for your journey. Intrepid Control Systems, over-the-air engineering boost your game. MEDC, where Michigan businesses are powering the future of mobility. Teijin Automotive Technologies, the formula for better mobility. And by ZF.
Intrepid's NeoVi Pi, allowing automotive engineers to interface, capture, and monitor vehicle data using Raspberry Pi. As a matter of fact, it's the automotive industry's first robust platform for Raspberry Pi, featuring Intrepid CAN-FD technology and Raspberry Pi compute module. The NeoVi Pi is designed for automotive environments, allowing use with relative power ranges and applications. In addition, the NeoVi Pi enables you to use the Raspberry Pi for compute while avoiding additional development to adapt to network environments. That makes the NeoVi Pi powerful enough to solve your vehicle network problems, yet small enough to fit in your backpack. One of many Intrepid tools used for developing zonal architecture and software-defined vehicles.
trusting tires designed for the long haul. Because you'll always go the distance for friends. That's what really matters. Bridgestone Alenza tires with an 80,000-mile limited warranty.
Michigan is leading the charge in mobility and innovation, and I can't think of a better state to be in.